Yo, what's going on? Mike from Mike Talk Sports. As the Frank Reich era in Carolina for the Panthers just came to an abrupt ending as David Tepper made Frank Reich one of the least successful, biggest failures at the head coaching position in NFL history, only lasting 11 games. For reference, Urban Meyer even lasted more games than this. In today's episode of Mike Talk Sports, I'm going to be looking back at the worst aspect of Frank Reich and what makes him such a bad offensive mind, and it really is his lack of ability to scheme up that blocking scheme and really scheme up a good run game and a good passing game from an offensive lineman perspective. I did a deep dive into so many analytical numbers to paint a picture how much worse the Panthers are with Frank Reich and how much better the Colts are without him. First, let's look at the 2022 Indianapolis Colts under Frank Reich so you really get excited on paper about this offensive line. You see names like Nelson, you see names like Kelly and Smith for the Colts at the offensive line, especially at those two tackle positions as well, having really nice play in the past. Under Frank Reich, they regressed every single year, and it really did rear its ugly head in 2022. Last year's Indianapolis Colts team had a pass block win rate of 49%. For reference, guys, that was ranked 32nd in the entire NFL. Yes, you heard that correctly. David Tepper this offseason hired the guy who had the worst pass blocking offensive line in the entire National Football League last season. Now, I completely get it. This Colts offensive line and really their strong suit is not pass blocking. It really is run blocking. So how has it changed under Frank Reich, now under Shane Steichen? So their run block win rate in 2022 was 71%, which was best for 23rd in the NFL, still well below league average. So now let's look at the 2023 Indianapolis Colts under Shane Steichen. So their pass block win rate still isn't great. It's 28th in the NFL, which is a marginal improvement, but really this staggering difference does come in the run game. Zach Moss, Jonathan Taylor and company have been running behind absolute freight train holes all season long, and the significant difference does not come with personnel. It comes with the run blocking scheme. So this year, the Indianapolis Colts went from 23rd ranked in the NFL under Frank Reich to now under Shane Steichen. They are the 8th best run blocking win rate team in the entire NFL. Again, it really is that difference between the schematics that have been such a significant difference for the Colts, which is why their main identity this year is running the ball, when last year they couldn't run the ball to save their life, and it really was because of how poor that run blocking was under Frank Reich. So now let's look at the Carolina Panthers. So coming into this 2023 season, of course, I was a bit nervous for Bryce Young when it came to the weapons he had around him. The wide receiver room really did look bad coming into this year, but one positive I had for this Carolina Panthers team coming into 2023 was that offensive line. I thought the 2022 Panthers had a really nice offensive line, and the numbers really do back this up, as I will share in a second. But overall, I thought they had one of the more underrated units in the entire National Football League. And even though I was nervous about Bryce Young's size, I said, hey, at least they do have a good offensive line, right? Well, of course, I was wrong, because Frank Reich came in and absolutely blew up the schematics and made them one of the worst offensive lines in the entire National Football League this season. In 2022, the Panthers' pass block win rate was at 62%, which was 11th in the entire NFL. Yes, guys, 11th. And their run block win rate was also pretty solid at 72%, which was best for 15th in the league. And according to PFF, the 2022 Panthers had the 10th best pass blocking offensive line unit in the entire NFL. So, of course, again, I was excited for Bryce Young being able to perform behind a top 10 offensive line when it came to pass blocking. Not only this, but Frank Reich had a bunch of young guys on the offensive line, such as Ekwonu, to work with, who were naturally going to progress and get even better than they were last season. Again, this unfortunately did not happen. So in 2023, for the Carolina Panthers, their pass block win rate regressed all the way to 52%, which is 24th in the NFL. NFL. They dropped that many spots from 11th down to 24. But this is, again, where the staggering part comes in for Frank Reich. It really is that run blocking scheme. The Panthers' run block win rate in 2023 is at 66%, which is best for 31st in the entire NFL. So it went from 15th to 31st. It seems as though no running back on this team, Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders, etc., can't even have a singular open hole to run behind because of how bad Frank Reich is at scheming up that offensive line from a run blocking perspective. Per PFF, the Panthers last year had a top 15 offensive line unit with a top 10 pass blocking unit, and right now, per PFF, they have a bottom 5 offensive line in the entire National Football League. Such a significant drop-off and regression. Hopefully, this new Panthers coaching staff can come in and just resolve the issues that have been so apparent with the offensive line this season, just as the Colts ended up doing this season under Shane Steichen. Thanks for watching today's episode of Mike Talk Sports. Let me know in the comment section below, what are your thoughts on Frank Reich, and do you think it was the correct decision to fire him? I really do think it was, but honestly, of course, it was the incorrect decision to hire him in the first place, and that really is the significant problem with David Tepper. He's not making smart hires here. If you enjoyed today's episode of Mike Talk Sports, though, I really appreciate it, guys. Smack that like and hit subscribe.